Hi, my name is Shannon, and I'm the instructor here at High Fire Hawaii on the big island of Hawaii in Hilo. And we're going to show you today how to cut a foot into the bowl that we made last time on the last video. And that's this part right here. And when we throw a form, we have all this material on the bottom here. And so we're going to be measuring it to see how much we can take out. This is kind of a cutout of what's going to happen. And let's see, how much material do we have? You want to make sure the bowl is leather hard, not too squishy, not too firm. They talk about it sometimes like cheese, like a sharp cheddar maybe. Anyway, I lay a ruler across the top, and then I go into the inside of the bowl. This says 3.5. Then I come to the outside and I go up to the ruler here. And 3 7/8. So I have enough material that I could definitely take off about 1/4 of an inch or so, or maybe even a little more, to create this foot. And well, where does it go? You know, so usually what I tell people is like when the wall starts to turn and kind of flatten out, I'll bring the form over to the edge and I'll kind of just stick my fingernail into the clay to kind of mark maybe the outside of the foot, and I'll do that here, or maybe I should do it here. And kind of going into the form like that, and I'm going to put my foot right below my finger there. That will be the outside part of the foot. That'll be maybe the inside part of the foot. And then we're going to start trimming away that material. I had to put this on a bat because if I flipped it over, it would hit the bat pins. I also want to feel my form, you know, if it's heavy. Usually it's heavy right down in this area right here. So you might be trimming some of that here. And so anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to flip it over and get it centered first. All right, so I'm going to take a needle tool. And you know, you could probably get it centered kind of through these pins or what have you. A lot of times if your bowl is not as heavy as this one, you're probably just going to want to tack it down a little bit, because sometimes when the needle tool hits it, it'll send the form over. And we wouldn't want that to happen with a smaller form. So I'm going to take my needle tool and I'm going to kind of hold it just far enough away from the form so that it gently scores the form. And it's scoring almost all the way around. And it's scoring from about here to about here. Pretty well all the way around, and it's not touching very well right here. So I'm going to kind of make a mark from the distance where it's not touching from here to here, and I'm just going to push it a little bit towards that mark. Not too much, just a little bit. And then I'm going to measure again, and I'm going to go maybe above this line or below it, but not on the same area, so I can determine if it's centered or all the way around. So I'm going to hold the tool, and now it's touching all the way around. It's not gouging in on any one side or what have you. So the objective is now to get it centered, and it is. And now I'm going to tag it down with some wads of clay. Now these don't have to be sloppy wet, but you don't want them too dry. And I kind of make some coils here, and you want to make sure you don't move it off center now. So hold your piece down, apply the clay. This is why you don't want the rim to be too soft. And I tag it down in 4 spots. You'll see a lot of people who will do it in 3 spots, but 4 spots even gives it more of a chance of not flying off the wheel when we're trimming. Okay. Get a good connection. Every so often check these connections to make sure it hasn't loosened. All right, so I'm going to draw in the lines of the foot, I hold the needle tool straight up and down and gently score those lines into the bottom. And then bring it out. And if you're a beginner, give yourself some room you might nick the foot, and you might need to slim it down a little bit because you nicked the foot. These are trimming tools. There's all types of angles or curves or what have you. I like to use the corners to kind of just dig in a little bit. When you use the flat part, sometimes you'll actually end up lifting the bowl away from these pads and it kind of flies into the wheel well. So we'll try not to do that today. So again, we're going counterclockwise. I use a stand-up treadle wheel here where I'm powering it with my foot. This is not left-hand friendly. If you're a lefty, this is not for you. You'll probably want to use your dominant hand. So the setup isn't proper, so you'll use an electric wheel, people in my classroom. So I'm a right-handed person. This works out okay. So I'm going to start taking a little bit of the material here, and I'm nibbling away and kind of working inward. And I'm going to mark where I have that foot there and take away the material. So I don't want to cut into that. And then I can take a little bit of the material from the center, and notice how I work really close to the blade of the tool. I'm not holding it back here going like this, you know. I'm really working close to the blade, taking a little bit of the material, and I'm making a pass, and I keep bringing the tool out by holding it. And you gotta have a good grip, you know, we're spinning this, so if you don't have a good grip, the tool will try to rip from your hand. I'm gonna get right up to the edge of this foot. Okay, that's where I'm gonna keep my foot right here and then shape the bowl like this. And that's what I'm gonna be doing here. Let me do that real quick. And then I'll smooth it out for y'all. Remember I said about feeling the bowl before so you knew where the thickness was to take away. Okay. So you always want to tap and test every so often. Make sure the pads are down. Okay, one more pass. See how I have a good grip on this tool? Now I'm going to smooth out the bottom here. I think it's thin enough. And remember, I measured, right? So I have an idea. It's generally much thinner right in the center, though, than it is as you work out towards the side. Okay. Maybe you want to take another tool now and take these ridges off from where you were trimming. So if you felt your bowl, you knew where it was heavier, you measured, you know how much to put your foot here. You'll take away anything, maybe refine it. Okay, and if you want, you can even kind of smooth those lines out with a tool, you know. All right, and I think we're done there. Now, what if you weren't sure? You could always kind of give these some registration marks and make it easier to center on two sides, and then peel this away. And you would take the bowl out, and you could maybe center it a little faster, or just recenter it. So there we have our foot. I hope that helps you with your future forms. Thank you very much for watching.